Welcome to Daily Celebrity Data. Time has shaken the monuments of boxing, and many believed the final curtain had long since closed. But in 2026, surprisingly, a few legends remain, carrying the scars, memories, and silent battles fought behind the scenes. Who are they, and what has kept them standing strong through the harsh years? The stories behind them will keep you captivated. In the ring, defense can be just as iconic as offense, and James Toney proved that masterfully. Born August 24, 1968, he became famous for perfecting the shoulder roll style, confusing opponents across multiple divisions. A three-weight world champion, Toney's career spanned decades at the elite level. Today, at age 57, he lives with noticeable speech challenges linked to the long demands of professional fighting, a reminder of the cost carried by many champions. Some moments redefine an entire era, and Antonio Tarver delivered one of them. Born November 21, 1968, he made history as the first man to stop Roy Jones Jr., altering the landscape of light heavyweight boxing. A world champion known for timing and confidence, Tarver has transitioned smoothly beyond competition. Now 57, he remains in good health and stays active as a commentator and analyst within the boxing world. During the 1990s, dominance had a name, and it was Roy Jones Jr. Born January 16, 1969, he was widely regarded as the best pound-for-pound fighter of his generation, combining speed, reflexes, and creativity rarely seen. A four-weight world champion, Jones redefined what was possible inside the ring. At 57, he remains in excellent physical condition, continuing to train and guide the next generation as a high-level boxing coach. Heavyweight boxing is remembered for wars, and Riddick Bowe stood at the center of some of its most memorable chapters. Born August 10, 1967, he secured his place in history through a legendary trilogy against Evander Holyfield and became undisputed heavyweight champion. Today, at age 58, Bowe faces neurological challenges and noticeable speech difficulties linked to years of high-level competition, highlighting the lasting impact of the sport's toughest battles. Few fighters inspired both fear and admiration, like Gerald McClellan. Born October 23, 1967, he was known as one of the most powerful middleweight punchers of his era and held the WBC middleweight title. His career was defined by intensity and raw power. Now 58, McClellan lives with severe health limitations, requiring constant care from his family, while his story continues to prompt reflection on safety and compassion within the sport. Power and precision once defined Terry Norris inside the ring. Born June 17, 1967, he built his reputation through dominant performances, including memorable victories over Sugar Ray Leonard. A three-time light middleweight champion, Norris stood at the top of his division during his prime. Now 58, he lives with neurological and cognitive challenges linked to the long-term physical demands of his career, reflecting the hidden cost behind championship success. Style can be just as memorable as victory, and Chris Eubank made both inseparable. Born August 8, 1966, he went undefeated for a decade in WBO competition across middleweight and super middleweight divisions. Known for confidence, flair, and discipline, Eubank redefined the image of a champion. Now 59, he remains in excellent health and continues to influence popular culture in the UK as a fashion icon and media personality. Records may fade, but impact endures, and Mike Tyson left one of the deepest marks in boxing history. Born June 30th, 1966, he became the youngest heavyweight champion ever, rising to undisputed status with unmatched intensity. His early dominance reshaped the division. At 59, Tyson maintains generally good health, staying active through training, exhibitions, and media appearances that continue to draw global attention. In the heavyweight division, closure rarely comes cleanly, but Lennox Lewis provided exactly that. Born September 2nd, 1965, he retired as the last undisputed heavyweight champion, having defeated every major rival of his era. His career reflected strategy, patience, and authority. Now 60, Lewis remains in excellent physical and mental condition, working worldwide as a respected commentator and mentor within boxing. Some stories defy expectation, and Oliver McCall continues to surprise. Born April 21st, 1965, he is remembered for his stunning victory over Lennox Lewis in 1994 and for holding the WBC heavyweight title. While many peers stepped away, McCall's physical condition has remained remarkable. At 60, he made headlines again by winning a professional bout in late 2025, extending one of boxing's most unusual careers. Longevity in boxing is rare, but Bernard Hopkins turned it into an art form. Born January 15, 1965, he made history as the oldest world champion ever at age 49, dominating the middleweight division with intelligence and control. Known for his strict, monk-like diet and disciplined lifestyle, Hopkins remains in exceptional health at 61, often cited as proof that preparation can extend greatness far beyond expectation. Power once defined Nigel Benn, but balance defines him now. Born January 20, 1964, famously known as the Dark Destroyer, Benn captured world titles in 2 weight divisions with relentless intensity. Today, at 62, he lives a quieter life in Australia, maintaining strong physical health while focusing on fitness, faith, and family, far removed from the roar of the ring. Few champions carried the weight of history like Evander Holyfield. Born October 19, 1962, he remains the only 4-time heavyweight world champion, standing at the center of boxing's most dramatic eras. His career reflected resilience and faith under pressure. Now 63, Holyfield maintains stable health and continues to travel globally for public appearances, his presence still commanding respect decades after his prime. Consistency built legends, and Julio Cesar Chavez mastered it like few others. Born July 12, 1962, he carved out an astonishing 89-fight unbeaten streak and became a world champion across 3 weight divisions. His relentless pressure style defined an era. At 63, Chavez remains energetic and healthy, channeling his experience into a popular career as a boxing analyst for major Hispanic networks. In the UK, boxing often feels personal, and Frank Bruno embodied that connection. Born November 16, 1961, he became one of Britain's most beloved heavyweights and a WBC world champion. Beyond the ring, Bruno has been open about his mental health journey. Now 64, he maintains stable health and actively advocates for awareness, showing strength not just in victory, but in honesty. In a divided era, boxing found unity through Barry McGuigan. Born February 28, 1961, he became a symbol of hope and peace in Ireland, transcending sport with his character. As WBA featherweight champion, his victories carried meaning far beyond titles. Now 64, McGuigan remains in good health and deeply involved in boxing as a promoter and manager, continuing to shape the sport from the outside. History often turns on a single night, and Buster Douglas authored one of its greatest surprises. Born April 7, 1960, he shocked the world by defeating Mike Tyson, a moment that reshaped heavyweight boxing. As an undisputed champion, his name remains tied to that unforgettable upset. Now 65, Douglas maintains stable health while carefully managing long-term conditions, staying connected to the sport that defined his legacy. Speed, power, and adaptability defined Thomas Hearns. Born October 18, 1958, he became the first fighter to win world titles in 4 weight classes, later extending that legacy across 5 divisions. His long reach and sharp timing set him apart in every era he touched. Now 67, Hearns remains mentally sharp and active, frequently appearing at Hall of Fame events that celebrate boxing history. Youth once made history through Wilfred Benitez. Born September 12, 1958, he stunned the world by becoming the youngest world champion ever at just 17, later winning titles in 3 weight classes. His defensive instincts were ahead of their time. Now 67, Benitez lives with fragile health and requires full-time care, a quiet reminder of how early brilliance can come with lasting consequences. For an entire continent, Azumah Nelson represented pride and possibility. Born July 19, 1958, he is widely regarded as the greatest African boxer of all time, holding WBC titles at featherweight and super featherweight. His composure and skill earned global respect. Now 67, Nelson remains in excellent health, focusing on coaching and philanthropic work through his foundation in Ghana. Few athletes ever crossed into global pop culture the way Sugar Ray Leonard did. Born May 17, 1956, he became the defining superstar of 1980s boxing, blending speed, charisma, and intelligence. A 5-weight world champion, Leonard's bouts transcended sport and entered mainstream history. Now 69, he remains in excellent health and high energy, working as a motivational speaker and television personality. While others chased attention, Michael Spinks let achievement speak for itself. Born July 13, 1956, he reigned as the undisputed light heavyweight champion before conquering a 2nd division. His calm demeanor mirrored his disciplined style in the ring. At 69, Spinks enjoys stable health and lives a deliberately quiet, private life away from the spotlight he once dominated. Power can define an era, and Gerry Cooney carried it visibly. Born August 24, 1956, he was known throughout the 1980s for extraordinary punching strength that made him a constant heavyweight threat. Though he never held a world title, his presence shaped the division. Now 69, Cooney remains in good health, hosting a popular boxing radio show and speaking with clarity and insight. Some nicknames become eternal, and Roberto Duran's Hands of Stone tells its own story. Born June 16, 1951, he conquered 4 weight divisions with relentless pressure and ferocity. His influence spanned generations and continents. Now 74, Duran maintains stable health after addressing heart-related issues in 2024 and continues life with medical support, remaining a revered figure in boxing history. In Britain, elegance in the ring found its form through John Conte. Born May 19, 1951, he was widely regarded as the nation's most gifted light heavyweight, capturing the WBC world title with style and intelligence. His skill set inspired a generation of British fighters. At 74, Conte remains in good health, actively engaging in charity work and after-dinner speaking across the UK. Consistency at the top is rare in heavyweight boxing, and Larry Holmes mastered it. Born November 3, 1949, he defended his world title an extraordinary 20 consecutive times, setting a benchmark for dominance and discipline. As WBC and IBF heavyweight champion, Holmes built his legacy on precision and durability. Now 76, he remains in very good health, thriving as a successful businessman while continuing to appear regularly at boxing events. In Japan, boxing history carries a distinct pride, and fighting Harada stands at its center. Born April 5, 1943, he earned global respect by defeating the legendary Ida Joffre twice, an achievement that resonated far beyond the ring. A 2-weight world champion, Harada helped elevate Japanese boxing on the world stage. Now 82, he remains in stable health and is still revered throughout Japan's boxing community. Some victories define a lifetime, and Billy Backus lived one of boxing's great surprises. Born March 5, 1943, he captured the welterweight world title with a stunning upset over Jose Napoles, a moment that secured his place in history. His career reflected resilience and belief. At 82, Backus enjoys stable health and a quiet retirement in New York, far from the spotlight he once commanded. Sometimes a single night can echo through pop culture, and Chuck Wepner lived that reality. Born February 22, 1939, he became the real-life inspiration for the movie Rocky after pushing a legendary champion further than expected. Known as a rugged heavyweight contender, Wepner's story blended grit with heart. Now 86, he remains in stable health, a cancer survivor who still enjoys meeting fans at sports memorabilia and film conventions. Durability became a defining trait for George Chuvalo. Born September 12, 1937, he built his reputation as one of boxing's toughest heavyweights, famously never being knocked down in his career. A Canadian heavyweight champion, Chuvalo earned respect through resilience rather than flash. At 88, He lives with advanced cognitive decline, yet remains physically strong for his age, remembered as a symbol of toughness in the sport. Behind many of boxing's biggest nights stood Don King. Born August 20th, 1931, he promoted some of the most iconic events in the sport's history, shaping eras through spectacle and scale. His influence extended far beyond individual fighters. Now 94, King appears frail and often uses a wheelchair, making limited public appearances due to advanced age. Yet his name remains inseparable from boxing's grandest moments. While others stepped back with age, Bob Arum kept moving forward. Born December 8, 1931, he founded Top Rank Boxing and helped guide generations of champions to the world stage. His vision emphasized longevity and structure in the business of boxing. At 94, Arum remains remarkably sharp and mentally active, continuing to run his multi-million-dollar company with clarity and purpose. And as the final bell rings, these stories remind us that boxing is not just about winning and losing, but about human resilience against the test of time. If you're still pondering, that's the true power of legends.